What's up, and welcome to the DualSense podcast for episode 143. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason. I'm joined, of course, as always, 3 weeks in a row now by your other co-host. He's calling himself tonight Keith Bogey. He's also known as Travis. Mr. Bogey. Mr. Bogey Man. How are you?
I'm fine. We got a time crunch this week, which is fine because your wife told me you have no problem finishing quickly.
Yeah, same. Ditto.
So love
Ditto.
it. Yeah. Look, I'm not in there for her. I'm in there for me.
Yeah, we were just chatting about how Zencaster on the free tier now gives you a time limit, and I think it's 90 minutes a week, and which is perfect for us. You know, it's made for us, right? And because we cap ourselves at 90 minutes anyway, no problem. Log in tonight, tells me that we have 65 minutes remaining. Don't know what that's about unless they changed it again, dropped it to 65, which is possible. But I'm wondering if it's going to like reset and roll over mid recording. Maybe we shot our wad a little too soon this week, so we'll see. But I do have a nice iced coffee here to keep me company while we do this from the Starbucks. I found that if you just speed things up when you say them, they sound a little bit more southern, like Starbucks, Amazon. You know, just pick a word. So you were discussing how you did not enjoy your dinner very much. It wasn't a very hearty, fulfilling dinner.
It's just like you go to these mediocre fucking places. It's called Colton Steakhouse. It's fucking terrible. Listen, the best part of the whole dinner was this table of 4 came in after us, and 2 of them got there early, and they looked like the computerized model showing you what your body should look like if you want to survive any car crash. That's what they looked like. And the woman is on oxygen, and she had like, you know how you have the red face from high blood pressure? She'd had it so long that it had turned into varicose veins. And
oh God.
Yeah, and then she they ordered 2 or 3 appetizers and she's drinking Coke. And I'm like, look, I know there's a million reasons you could be on oxygen that have nothing to do with being overweight. But you're super overweight and you're on oxygen, so maybe you should, I don't know, just try to like stay alive maybe. But that's fine. And then
you're not doing yourself any favors with Coke and 3 appetizers and probably railed a heater on the way in.
Yeah, I watched her eat all 3 appetizers. Then she was on her salad before I left. But I was watching her eat her blooming onion that's not called that there. And she had a bunch of ketchup on her plate, and she would take off the pedal and run it through the ketchup. And by run it, not dip it, run it through the ketchup. Like you're doing chips and salsa.
Yeah.
And then eat it, but because she had ketchup all over her hand, put all of her hand in her mouth and get all the ketchup off. So I'm just staring at her while she's eating. Like I can't stop watching because I hate her. So
you have a habit of doing that. You people watch whilst eating. You do that quite a bit.
Yeah, and then I'll watch them after they realize I'm watching them. I'll just keep watching them.
That's very sociopathic of you.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, they should realize they're doing weird stuff. Like who eats anything like that? Who sweeps? Yeah, God. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm a dipper. I'm not a sweeper.
So. Yeah, it's because you're not 400 pounds.
Maybe one day. It's early. It's early days. Anyway, Travis, we are a PlayStation podcast where you and I get together each and every week to discuss all things PlayStation, such as news, rumors, new game releases, and much more. We do it all in under 90 minutes or 65 minutes this week, and we post new episodes every Monday on the usual podcast services around this globe, as well as YouTube, where we also share gameplay videos occasionally. And we're also on social media. We would love to hear from you. Been hearing from people quite a bit lately. It pleases me greatly. You can find us on Twitter primarily, where we go by @TheDualSensePod. There's also an Instagram and Facebook if you choose to do that instead. And our website is thedulsensepodcast.wordpress.com. So please find us, hit us up, get the shows each week, get our pictures, our bios, all the good stuff, and chat some PlayStation with us, most importantly. So without any further ado, Travis, let's jump into what turned out to be a pretty interesting news week. Starting with number 1, PlayStation first-party studio Media Molecule announced this week that they will be ending support for Dreams on September the 1st of this year, with no new updates arriving after that date. The game creation suite will also be migrated to a new server in late May, which will cap storage of player-created content at 5 gigabytes. Players' current creations will not count towards that limit, but everything uploaded after the server migration will. The studio will not be pulling Dreams from the PlayStation Store on September the 1st, despite the game no longer being officially supported with content. Dreams launched in February of 2020 for PS4, but oddly enough was never ported to PS5 or to PC, despite the latter perhaps being the target market for such a title. Media Molecule was founded in January of 2006 and acquired by Sony Interactive Entertainment in March of 2010. It has released 5 games since opening 17 years ago: 2008's Little Big Planet for PlayStation 3, 2010's Sackboy's Prehistoric Moves for PlayStation 3, 2011's Little Big Planet 2 for PS3, 2013's Tearaway for PS Vita, and 2020's Dreams for PS4. Back in December of 2022, studio co-founder and art director Kareem Atouni announced that he would be leaving the company early this year, so he left earlier in 2023. So what's next for what is clearly a studio in a state of flux? Well, they announced that they're working on an entirely new project that is not Dreams 2 or even related to Dreams at all. Following the announcement, rumors began popping up that the studio is working on an MMO of some sort for PlayStation, of course. So what do you make of Media Molecule abandoning their dreams?
Okay. I think it would be, a lot bigger news if, God stopped supporting Dreams on September the 1st, but
Sure,
it's interesting when
sure,
you went through everything in this list, like the fact that the art director was leaving, there hadn't been a port to PS5 or PC. Maybe there should have been some writing on the wall that something was going on with the game, if not the studio in general. I do think that's kind of weird that the storage cap is odd to me because 5 gigs does not seem like much at all
correct.
for what you can do on that game.
I would agree.
And then to your point, though, I feel like this is a game that like would crush on PC because they're used like PC players understand how to mod and do stuff in ways that console players don't. And
Right.
this is the perfect game for that. And even if it might take it years or it might take it a while to pick up a huge following, but it's just a playground sandbox. You'd think it would do really well there. So I think that's super odd to me, especially since Sony wants to put a lot of their games on PC now. So that just seems like
Mm,
this always felt like the most obvious choice to me, just because of
mm,
the complete freedom you have within it. Yeah,
mm.
but this is just odd altogether to me. As far as what they're doing next, like I don't know where the rumors of the MMO came from. Like when you look at what they've made, like I guess to me it would be like a cartoony MMO. Like how are they going to help you build that? What have they done? Is it
Yeah.
I don't know, just artistically, I don't really know how that plays in. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, it's just interesting, man. Like, I don't know, it just seems like I just thought this would end up on PC, and considering it's dead now is very weird to me.
I think the fact that it was never on PC, or at least on PC or not on PC, I mean, it's 3 years almost basically since PS5 has been out. So the fact that number one, it hasn't been ported to PS5 and also even more so PC, I think shows that Sony had no long term plans for the game and no confidence
Right.
in the game. And if you want to call it a game, it's really, I would argue that you can't call it a game. It's more of a game creation suite. Yes, you can play things within that, I guess, that other people create, but in and of itself, I don't think is a game. It's more like some of these other things that we're seeing pop up, like the Fortnite editor and whatever. It was basically a very early version of that. So which, like you said, to your point, would have made perfect sense on PC. I think you could argue that if they released this game now
Mhm.
and they did it day and date on PC and PS5, for instance, it might have had a better chance. But still, I don't know who is asking for something like this, who wants something like that. Obviously not very many people. And did some cool things come out of Dreams? Absolutely. Did some people make some really impressive stuff out of it? Absolutely. Did that one guy who only made Dreams games get hired by a developer to help them make a game? Yes. That's all cool stuff. But it's like soccer, right? You can be a player who can play 90 minutes and sprint up and down the field, run a lot, but have no end product in terms of no goals, no assists,
Mhm.
and nothing like that, and you're worthless. So to me, Dreams is like a worthless soccer player who can run up and down the field the whole game, but with no end product,
Yeah.
in my
So
opinion. So
everybody on Everton
that's
and
correct.
Chelsea.
That's correct. And, in my opinion, they haven't made a game since 2013, which was Tearaway for the Vita. And I'm amazed that Sony has let them go on this long without making a game,
Yeah, that's a
a
fair
proper
point.
game. It blows my mind that it's taken them this long to say, "Hey, it's time for you guys to shit or get off the pot." And I think they've obviously known this for at least several months, which is why the co-founder and art director left back in December. They got word probably right around that time that Sony told them to give up on dreams, give up their dreams, and start making a game. I mean, I think that much is obvious, and it's about time. It's like that LeBron meme. It's about damn time because they're wasting their resources,
Yeah,
they're wasting talent, and we know that they can make cool games. Little Big Planet, cool game. Tearaway, awesome game.
right. So what have they been doing though? I don't understand. It's like it almost read more to me. You talking about the co-founder leaving, like right, he knew that Sony was basically putting pressure on them, but he had to have seen there's nothing there. Like,
Right.
did they lose their did they just not have talent? Like, what's going on? Like there's just something that
Yeah.
we may never know, but there seems like there's something behind the curtain that we don't have all the information on.
Yeah. I think Sony pretty notoriously like they trust their studios and they'll let them make what they want to make until they don't want them to make what they want to make. So
Mhm.
like for instance, Ben Studio, they want to make Days Gone. They let them make Days Gone. It didn't work out. They're not letting them make Days Gone anymore. Dre Media Molecule after Little Big Planet, Tearaway, they had some cachet at Sony. They're probably like, "Hey, we wanna make this thing called Dreams, and this is what it is." Sony's probably like, "Okay, you can give it a shot." They just told them, "Okay, you can give it a shot," for just a little bit too long, in my opinion. So, anyway, the dream is dead. Dreams are dead, and, what dreams may come. As far as their MMO, if that's true, that would check out, right? We know
Mhm.
about PlayStation's big live service push. Far as an MMO, they strike me Media Molecule as a team that can make something like that one game that I talked about a while back that was a free to play MMO that kind of enamored me that I can't even remember the name of now. Jesus Christ, the people who made Journey. What's the game called? It's going to bother the shit out of me.
Guy that made Journey, Steve Perry.
Yes. Hang on. Sky. It's called Sky. Sky Children of Light. That's the type of game that I can see Media Molecule making, that sort of MMO, which is dope. I mean, that'd be cool. Maybe they're going to work on PlayStation Home or something like that for VR. But anyway, finally, after what is far too long, Media Molecule is going to make a proper game that we probably won't see till PlayStation 6 is the weird, it's the
We'll
crazy
never
thing.
play it.
It'll take them fucking 10 years to make it a game. So anyway, number two, following up on last week's news that PlayStation is currently developing a new handheld device that will focus on PS5 remote play, now insider Tom Henderson has added that he is hearing the new handheld will be available this November. Henderson had previously reported that the new tech would arrive after the upcoming PS5 with a detachable disk drive, but before the inevitable PS5 Pro, which he says is launching holiday of 2024. As a refresher, the new handheld is codenamed Q Lite and is said to feature a 1080p 60 frames per second 8-inch LCD screen in the form factor of a PS5 DualSense controller. In an interesting bit of news that is potentially related to the Q Lite, website The Verge reported this week that Sony's gaming division may be preparing for a massive cloud gaming push. The Japanese giant is currently recruiting for 22 jobs to, quote, develop and deliver the strategic vision for cloud game streaming at PlayStation, end quote, within the Future Technology Group vertical. A vertical which states that their goal is to, quote, lead the charge in the cloud gaming revolution, end quote, and to put, quote, console quality video games on any device, end quote. The job listings also appear to reveal that Sony is no longer working with Microsoft to develop their cloud infrastructure after the two rivals announced in May of 2019 that they had partnered to develop cloud technology. Instead, Sony seems to now be partnered with Amazon Web Services on a new hybrid cloud infrastructure. This is all in addition to other signs that PlayStation is headed for the cloud, such as a Sony patent published at the end of last year that describes a cloud gaming system that sounds very much like Google's now defunct Stadia service. There's also the fact that recently acquired PlayStation studio Haven Studios is working to develop a cloud based game development framework that they said would be similar to collaborating on a Google Doc. Okay, so we know, at least we think we know, that the Q Lite is going to be a remote play streaming device. But what do you think about the latest, that it could be perhaps a little bit more than that and could be a proper cloud game streaming thing?
I don't feel like it's gonna be like I don't feel like it's gonna be like the Stadia per se. I think it's gonna be like a
Yeah.
handheld where you can log into something like a Google Doc, and then you can stream games onto it, you know what I mean? Like, it'll almost be like a
Mhm.
Netflix app or how the Game Pass is. I don't think the Q Lite will exist with this streaming type gaming service off the jump. I think this will be added later, would be my guess.
Mm. Hmm.
Sony and Amazon together, I don't really know how I feel about that. I don't like much. I don't like any of the story really, except for the fact that a handheld
Yeah.
could exist in some form. The fact that
Mhm.
they're rolling it out sooner, what is the advantage to rolling it out this fall? I don't get that. Like, it just seems like it's unnecessary to me.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily why it would be this November, other than to say that there's going to be more PS5s in the wild than ever. You know, when else would we put this thing out? It's only, what do we get out of waiting? I guess it would be the first thing. And then number two, I think that perhaps there's obviously more to the story that we don't know, in terms of maybe there's some type of big push that PlayStation is about to make, in terms of, because there was talk at one point, if you remember, I don't know how long ago it's been that we talked about this on the show, but there was this talk about PlayStation Studios having this sort of directive to make like hybrid games. At the time, they were talking about VR hybrid
Yeah.
games where, let's say, for instance, like, let's use Resident Evil as an example. So you'd have Resident Evil playable like normal, but then it would also be playable in a VR mode on PSVR 2. Well, maybe there's this other initiative where it's like, okay, hey, yeah, your game needs to be, you know, it needs to be optimized for 1080p and 60 frames streaming, so that we can put it on the Q Lite too. So I don't know. It's obviously very hypothetical, but and I think they also probably see the success of Steam Deck and Switch, and and maybe even the Backbone thing that they licensed, and they're probably thinking, hey, this is something that people want potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they want this more than they want the VR, in my opinion, but
Potentially.
maybe they figured out that to do the hybrid thing, they have to have 2 avenues, or I know that they're not really accessories. This okay, the VR2 and the Q-Lite isn't really an accessory based off the price, but for lack of a better term, let's call it an accessory. So maybe they need, or they figured out
Yeah.
that to hit these sales numbers, they need 2 avenues. But it still
Yeah.
begs the question, like, of cloud gaming in general, like, can that be successful? Because it seems like it's proven to be difficult, especially when,
Mm.
like, at the end of the day, the user has to have the bandwidth to pull it off, and if
Right.
they don't, it doesn't matter what you've calibrated it to. If their internet isn't gonna pull, it doesn't matter. So,
Right.
that limits you to some rural areas within our country and probably across the world. Like, I don't think people in Kazakhstan are gonna be playing the Q-Lite and streaming shit off.
No,
Maybe that's not
of
the I know
course
that's
not.
not the freaking target market, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it's just
No,
it's difficult.
it's a valid point. Yeah, it's a valid point. It's a big ask, in terms of relying on internet infrastructure across the world, across even America, like you said. It's not a technology that's necessarily ready to give us a full blown, one to one experience between playing on console or playing on something like that. I don't think,
Yeah.
we've talked about before how I wouldn't imagine that we'll be able to take this thing and play Battlefield 2042 on it, for instance. You know, can I play Anno 1800 on it? Could you play offline GT7 races on it? Probably, possibly, but something multiplayer, online, competitive, fast pace, probably not. But maybe, like I mentioned, maybe there's some technology we don't know about. Maybe there's something coming that they want to announce in November alongside this thing. A couple other things that I wanted to point out too is that it would not shock me if PlayStation made streaming quality tied to your PlayStation Plus tier. I don't know why I
Yeah,
think
I
that.
could see that.
I don't. I don't know why I think that. I just feel like this is the world we live in now. I could totally see an instance where it's like, oh, get the PlayStation Plus premium tier and you can get 1080p and 60 frames. You know, I don't know. Surely not. Like, surely they know that's a fucking massive L if they do that. Also, I want to reiterate. Well, let me back up one more thing. Stadia. I mentioned that in the write up. Stadia actually was pretty good tech. It worked pretty well. You know, I've talked. I don't know if I've talked about it on the show. I was a founder, a Stadia founder. It worked pretty well. The controller was really nice. I mean, people like to shit on Stadia, but they were, I think, just slightly ahead of their time. And the crazy thing is that both Xbox and now PlayStation, obviously, are working on this cloud game streaming functionality, if you will. And it just, there's obviously something to that, or they wouldn't be doing it. So, and then the last thing I wanted to say is that I've been hearing people talk about this thing being $100 or $150. I think you people are out of your fucking mind. There's, I'm sorry, I don't. Even if this thing is just a Wi-Fi radio, okay, it's going to be a DualSense. It's going to have a Wi-Fi radio in it. It's going to have a 1080p, 60 frames, 8-inch LCD touchscreen. It's going to have the full haptic suites of the DualSense. And you people think that's going to be not you people. There are people who think that's going to be $100. The backbone's $100, and all you do is put your fucking
Yeah,
cell
what
phone
does the
into it.
controller cost by itself?
The controller by itself is $70.
Right, why would it be 30 more with the else all that
Yeah.
technology in the middle? It doesn't make sense.
Why would it be 80 more with that? Like that, you people are crazy. Those people who say that are crazy. And then we know the DualSense Edge is $200. I think I think we're talking about $250 to $300 for this thing.
There's
Will it
no way
be
it's
dead?
cheaper than the Edge. It's impossible.
Will it be dead? Yeah. Will it be dead on arrival if it's $250 or $300? I don't know. I don't know. But if it's, in other words, if it's less than $200, if it costs less than the DualSense Edge at the very least, it will absolutely shock the absolute shit out of me.
If it's less than $200, will you eat a squid and we'll put it on YouTube?
I don't know if it's cooked, maybe.
Okay, it's cooked. We're in.
Number 3, Sony revealed the most downloaded games on the PlayStation Store for the month of March this week. On PlayStation 5, the top downloads were Resident Evil 4 at number 1, followed by MLB The Show 23, Hogwarts Legacy, WWE 2K23, NBA 2K23, Grand Theft Auto 5, Modern Warfare 2, Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, Madden NFL 23, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, FIFA 23, The Last of Us Part 1, Rainbow Six Siege, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 3, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Cyberpunk 2077, PGA Tour 2K23, Monster Hunter Rise, Need for Speed Unbound at number 20. On PlayStation 4, the most downloaded game was Minecraft. It was followed by MLB The Show, NBA 2K23, UFC 4, Resident Evil 4, Modern Warfare 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, The Last of Us Part 2, WWE 2K23, Forest, of course, Madden NFL 23, FIFA 23, The Last of Us Remastered, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Game Beast, Jedi Fallen Order, Outlast 2, Dead Island Definitive Edition, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice at 20. On PSVR 2, the most downloaded game was Pavlov, followed by the Dark Pictures Switchback, Kayak VR Mirage, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, Pistol Whip, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Swordsman VR, Drums Rock, and Job Simulator. At number 10, on free to play, there was nothing new to report other than Fortnite was on top at this time. So, anything that you take away from the most downloaded list?
Everything on the VR2 looks pretty interesting. We've talked about Pavlov. I think the Star Wars game looks pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah.
The 4 is kind of like a Wild West, and not really, but like there's just always weird stuff on here, right? Like freaking Sekiro's on there. The first Dead Island is on there, which means people are getting excited about the second one, but we don't see it on the 5. You know what I mean? Like there's just always this random shit on the PS4. Like Minecraft is always number 1, it seems like. That's
Yeah,
really
it is.
interesting. As far as the 5 goes, I think the PGA Tour being that low is kind of disappointing for EA. I know it's kind of their first
Oh,
game
that's not
back.
that's not their game. That's the one 2K put out about back in September.
Oh, I see that now. 2K
Yeah,
is
yeah.
on there. Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's a really easy game. Anyway, I'll be over
Mhm.
here. The double Resident Evil is interesting. Rainbow
The
Six
double
Siege, man.
rainbows.
Rainbow Six Siege, man, it's got some legs.
Yeah, of course.
We got Fallen Order up there, which I think they're gonna make a series of those or something like that, but I think Wo Long's the most interesting on that list. I'm kinda surprised it's up there.
Yeah. Resident Evil 4, huge, of course. And then Hogwarts Legacy holding in there strong. That's going to be one of those evergreen games that's like in the top 10, like all year long, you know?
You like Forest?
And then yeah, and then at the end of the year, it's just going to be like whatever. We've sold 30 million copies, and you're like, holy shit. So The Forest, of course, on PS4. No
So is
surprise there. Like,
Outlast too. I have a theory about these horror games on PS4. It's that
yeah.
people our age have given their children all their PS4s while they got PS5s, and then the children like to play these horror games so they can feel something emotionally.
Yeah. Or stream it and put it on TikTok or
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
horse shit they do. Yeah, yeah. And then PSVR 2, yeah, I think Pavlov is going to be holding the top spot for a long time, in my opinion, on PSVR 2. It's a very popular game, very good game by all accounts. I've played it a little bit, dabbled in it, and I think that'll be there in the top spot probably until Firewall Ultra comes out later this year, and those two will battle it out for PSVR 2 supremacy for a while there. So, anyway, on to number 4. Sony also announced this week the new games that are coming to the extra and premium tiers of PlayStation Plus on April the 18th. Extra subscribers will get Kana, Bridge of Spirits, Doom Eternal, Riders Republic, Wolfenstein 2, Slay the Spire, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, The Evil Within, Wolfenstein The Old Blood, Bassmaster Fishing, Paradise Killer, and Sackboy A Big Adventure, which everyone should have already from the Essential games. Not really sure why that's there. And then over on the premium tier, players will get Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, Doom 3, and Dishonored Definitive Edition. But that's not all, as 32 games will be leaving the catalog on May the 15th, including Spider Man, Resident Evil, and NBA 2K Playgrounds 2, among many others. You can view the full list under the Last Chance to Play section under the PlayStation Plus tab on the PlayStation Store. It's a lot of PlayStations. Okay, what do you think about the April extra and premium lineup?
I actually think the list is pretty good.
Mhm.
I've always wanted to play Wolfenstein. Perfect, it's there. Bridge of Spirits, a lot of people like that. Of course, Doom is well known. I think Riders Republic has potential. I think the start was a little bit rough, but I'm sure they've made changes to
It's
it
a cool
by
game.
now. So I'm sure it's fine and operational. It looks fine
Yeah,
when it pops up on my YouTube thread. It looks fine. Bassmaster is interesting. I know you're interested in Bassmaster.
I am.
Yeah, I mean, cool. I mean, I want to play the Wolfensteins, but I mean, I'll at least claim them. Who knows if I'll get around to it or not. Bassmaster, I might try. I don't know. It just depends on
As multiplayer,
what do we do multiplayer? Like one of us drop the boat and the other one fishes, or
I think we can play tournaments against like 32 other players or
oh,
30 other players.
can we wear the big Tennessee hat like that guy on FS1?
Maybe. Maybe. And yeah, what else? Anything else?
Oh no, I don't care about all the Dooms and Dishonored.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't have any honor to care about Dishonored. So,
Mhm.
yeah, like you said, right at the top, extra the extra tier is a very good value. They have been putting out great slates of games on the extra tier. You know, the premium tier, I really don't think is a compelling, again, value proposition at this point. So that's on Sony, that's on PlayStation. But extra, I think is where it's at. I think that's the sweet spot that everyone should be at. I am looking forward to trying out several of these. I'd been holding out on Kena Bridge of Spirits, so that worked out. I've already played Riders Republic, but that's a very cool game, fun game to do tricks and whatnot on the various vehicles. But like you said, I'm also going to download Bassmaster Fishing, which has a PS5 version and looks pretty neat. I'm gonna see what that's about. Maybe play some online tournaments with Travis. And Paradise Killer is it has like an anime art style, but it's
Mhm.
like a murder mystery, almost like LA Noir in a way. Like you interrogate suspects and ask them questions, and
Like on
you know,
Epstein
kind of like
Island.
yeah, and then you kind of like form your conclusions about the cases or whatever. So I'm interested in that. That it's got really good reviews on Steam. It's like a 9 out of 10 on Steam and stuff. So I already have Sackboy downloaded from the essential games I'm gonna try out at some point as well, so I think it's a pretty strong list. And, May potentially could be a banger too since we're probably gonna have a showcase in the month of May, potentially. All right, Travis, number 5, we have a bunch of news nuggets as well. Feel free to jump in here. First nugget, in what could potentially be massive news if true, Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 is rumored to feature the world-shifting tech scene in Ratchet& and Clank Rift Apart, as the studio is allegedly including the Spider-Verse in the game. Although, I do wanna note that the person who claimed this online this week is kinda spotty on, their stuff, and hard to say if they're a reliable source, but, I mean, that would make sense, you know? I mean, there is the whole Spider-Verse thing, there's the animated films now, there's the live action films, which leaned into that, and then we obviously know that Insomniac has the technology to do that, and it makes you wonder if Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was like a tech test for what could potentially come to Spider-Man 2, so interesting. Also, PlayStation debuted a new State of Play stream this week focused on Final Fantasy 16. It showed off nearly 25 minutes of new gameplay for the highly anticipated RPG, and although it's not for Travis or myself, there's no denying that the footage is very impressive and the game looks pretty awesome. So I hope you nerds enjoy it.
Looks stupid.
PSVR 2 MMORPG Zenith, The Last City, is getting PvP combat, player housing, and other new additions in a large update later this year that's called Skyward Summit. Looks neat. Retro inspired first person shooter Warhammer 40,000 Bolt Gun launches May 23rd for PS4 and PS5. EA revealed the first official details of their upcoming single player Magic FPS called Immortals of Avium this week, as well as the first trailer, and it looks pretty impressive as well. And it's releasing on July 20th for PlayStation 5. Very intrigued by that. Very intrigued indeed. Media outlets got to go hands on with the upcoming PSVR 2 tactical shooter Firewall Ultra this week, Travis, that we were just referring to, and everyone seemed to come away pretty impressed with the game. We still don't have a release date for Firewall, but that surely is coming at the rumored PlayStation showcase in terms of an official release date. One very cool thing to note is that when enemies throw flashbangs at you in the game, you can either close your eyes or cover your face with your hand to avoid the blinding effects. And along those lines, if you have a flashlight on your gun, you can cover the light with your hand to avoid enemy detection. That all sounds very dope
That's very
to
cool.
me. Yes. My most anticipated VR2 game. Very much looking forward to
I
it.
immediately thought it'd be fun to do like shadow puppets.
You probably can, honestly. You probably can. It's a 4v4 game. So there's me, Jacob, you, John. I don't know what am I missing something there? I mean, you know.
Yeah, you can send us about $2,000 to buy the sets.
God damn it. It's 1,000. Be 1,100. You make the money, Mr. Moneybags. All right, next nugget. Guerrilla Games released the launch trailer for Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores this week if you're interested, and I am in media blackout mode, so enjoy it. The Elder Scrolls Online is getting a new chapter called Necrom on June 20th, and it will feature a new Arcanist class, or Arcanist class, however you say that. It'll be the first new class for the game in 4 years. It's also going to have a new group challenges and a part of Apocrypha. Apocrypha? Never seen before in an Elder Scrolls game. Website Insider Gaming reported that Sony is planning to release the PS5 detachable disc drive model in September, likely to capitalize on the ability to sell a bundle with the upcoming Spider-Man 2. September is also the month that Sony forecasts selling the most PS5s this year, with 3.5 million units sold projected. Production on the new PS5 model is beginning this month, according to Insider Gaming sources. And that adds up. I mean, if you want to sell a new PS5, stick a Spider-Man code in the box. Then 2 months later, give us the remote play handheld. Sounds like a fun time. I'm very, very much looking forward to playing The Last of Us Factions on my handheld Q Lite in November, by the way. Heard it here first. Next nugget, Fall Guys Season 10 will launch a creative mode on May the 10th. The mode will allow players to create their own levels, which developer Mediatonic believes will breathe a new life into a game that now garners just over 3,000 daily players on Steam. Ouch.
There's your dreams, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
That is a fun game though. Too bad it's kinda died.
Yeah, At launch, they were having 170, almost 173,000 players per day on Steam alone. So just to show you, kind of like Multiverses, but not quite as
Mhm.
dead. Also, website Video Games Chronicle reported that Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League has now officially been delayed to February 2nd of 2024 so that Rocksteady Studios can quote unquote polish the game. That's so fucking far away. They delayed it almost a year to polish, like 9 months. Basically, I don't know about that. The Last of Us PC version received another patch this week, which fixed 40 more bugs. It is the fourth such patch since March 28th. PS5 players also got some love with a patch that added new character outfits from the HBO series this week. And that's a disgrace that Naughty Dog and PlayStation let the PC version of that game get out the door in the state that it's currently in. That's not a good look. Speaking of The Last of Us, Craig Mazin, the co-writer and showrunner of HBO's series, said that everything is on the table for adapting the second game in terms of who lives and dies. Mazin told Esquire magazine, quote, "This should be fairly obvious to anyone by now, but I don't fear killing characters. But the important thing to note is that neither Neil, meaning Neil Druckmann, nor I feel constrained by the source material," end quote.
Ooh,
Hmm.
we will bring in Godzilla, maybe a vampire. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Can't wait to see Godzilla and Dracula and Big Bird. Okay. Leaked footage from 2021 of Jet Set Radio and Persona 3 remakes appeared online this week if you're interested. Tekken 8 director Katsuhiro Harada confirmed that the game will feature cross-play and rollback netcode when it launches later this year. Beloved head of PlayStation Indies Shuhei Yoshida is now a PlayStation Stars collectible item. All you have to do is download and start one of his recommended games to get it's a bobblehead of him. It's pretty neat.
Did you get it?
I did get it, of course.
A nerd.
Also, multiplayer shooter Lawbreakers, which was shut down in September of 2018 after failing to find a player base, could potentially be returning. The game was developed by the now defunct studio Boss Key Productions, which was led by Cliff Blazinski, and it released in August of 2017 to positive critical reception. Cliffy B stated on Twitter this week that he has received new info from his lawyers regarding the game and told fans to quote unquote stay tuned for news. So I remember playing that and not being good at it at all.
I have no idea what it is.
Also, website Games Industry reported that the PS5 is up 180% in sales in the UK in the first quarter of 2023 when compared to the first quarter of last year, while Switch fell 25% and Xbox Series fell 18%. That's a pretty big discrepancy there. Developer American McGee, can't be his real name, announced he has left game development after publisher Electronic Arts decided not to fund the third game in his Twisted Alice in Wonderland spin-off games.
I know what those are, and his name sounds like he rides dirt bikes for Red Bull.
Website Game Rant reported this week that PlayStation has been referring to their competitors' products and patent applications as quote unquote inferior now. And I don't really see
Awesome.
the problem.
I don't either. We gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, true.
You never know. We'll start sending little Xboxes off to fire kills in Poland.
Oh, shit. Also, website Push Square reported that PlayStation quietly added trophy support to PlayStation portable game Echo Shift, which is available now on PS Plus Premium. Arcade racer Hot Wheels Unleashed has now crossed 2 million copies sold. RPG Sea of Stars has released 19 minutes of fresh gameplay this week if you're interested. Psychological horror game Afterlife VR is coming to PSVR 2 on April the 19th, and definitely not playing that fucking game. Dambuster Studios has revealed the opening 11 minutes of Dead Island 2 gameplay if you're interested in seeing that.
Are you interested in that game?
Yeah, I think I'm interested in that game. Looks pretty neat. Publisher Capcom has opened a large state-of-the-art motion capture facility in Osaka, Japan to quote-unquote further strengthen its gaming output. There must be something in the water in Osaka after Konami announced last week that they were moving their offices to a massive new office building there as well.
Probably tax cuts.
Yeah, good point. Also, Bungie has apologized for the lackluster Lightfall expansion for Destiny 2, despite its commercial success. The PlayStation studio said they, quote, missed the mark on the latest DLC. Walkabout Mini Golf is coming to PSVR 2 on May the 11th, featuring 16 courses, full crossplay with other platforms, and a number of DLC add-ons. That game looks really
Yeah, it's interesting looking.
Yeah. Also, racing game developer Milestone announced Ride 5, their first next gen exclusive title, and it is set to arrive on PS5 on August 24th. That's a lot of Ives in that sentence.
I can tell you it will look really nice.
Yes.
They make
Yeah.
very pretty games.
Mhm. The fourth game, broke the internet in the fall of 2021. It went
Yeah,
viral for that, like, first-person replay camera
and it was
footage,
on
whatever.
PS4. Wait, just wait for this.
Mhm. Next nugget. The Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster Gate Rune and Dunin Unification Wars appears, excuse me, to be getting close to release after the collection was rated in Taiwan this week. Terrible name. Awful. Gran Turismo 7 film director Neil Blomkamp told Empire magazine that the August 11th movie will feature, quote, real actors in real cars on real racetracks driving insanely quickly, end
Mhm.
quote. Does that do anything for you?
Like I said before, it's really hard to get speed to translate to film, so it'll be interesting to see if they can do that. It always looks
Yeah.
fake or slow.
Yeah. Well, just turn the fan up higher, and blow
Mhm.
the hair back more. That's all you
Feels
gotta
a
do.
little bit better. We need a 4D theater.
Yeah. Also, From Software's Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon has been rated in Korea for PS4 and PS5, indicating that the release is mere months away. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Mafia 4 may have multiplayer and live service elements as developer Hangar 13 is hiring for various roles, hinting at such. However, and this is a big however, Travis, Hangar 13 is also developing a revival of the top spin tennis franchise, so it is entirely possible that this is for that instead. We'll see.
Yeah, it's for tennis. There's
Yeah, I would think so. According to analytics firm DFC Intelligence, console and PC players only account for less than 10% of all gamers worldwide. They estimate that there are 3.7 billion gamers on this planet Earth, with only 300 million of those on console and PC, which blows my mind. And it's
See, what's
probably
the other part? What are they doing?
just playing on mobile phone, playing
Oh,
fucking Candy Crush or whatever. Also, Sony appears to have finally stopped sending out automated purchase confirmation emails for PlayStation Plus games that are claimed by customers. So you used to always get those when you'd claim a free PlayStation Plus game. It'd freak everyone out. Amnesia the Bunker has been delayed by a week on PS4 and PS5 to get out of the way of the next Zelda game, and it will now release on May 23rd. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches this week: Battlefield 2042, Genshin Impact, The Last of Us, Sniper Elite 5, MLB The Show 23, God of War Ragnarok, Wild Hearts, Path of Exile, The Outer Worlds, Atomic Heart, Neverwinter, No Man's Sky, and Wolong Fallen Dynasty. So if you've been looking for some new content or bug fixes, check those out. Also, Kingdom Come Deliverance developer Warhorse Studios is hiring a cinematic designer for their next game to help create quote unquote AAA quality cutscenes. Should be fun. I'm trying to think when Kingdom Come came out. I want to say 2018 or 19, maybe. They should be getting close, I would hope. Next nugget, open world survival game 7 Days to Die is headed to PS5 later this year, according to developer The Fun Pimps. What a name. Blizzard has confirmed that Diablo 4 will get new story content every 3 months after launch, and that it will take 80 hours, Travis, to complete each battle pass.
insane.
My God. Every 3 months, 80 hours of new shit to do. That's insane.
It's only 2 weeks straight, 8 hours a day.
Yeah, just shitting where you sleep and letting your eyes bleed. It's like that South Park meme. The Lord of the Rings Gollum has finally gone gold ahead of its launch on May the 25th. Website Gematsu reported that Dungeon RPG Labyrinth of Zengetsu will come to PS4 in the West on April 20th. 2D side-scrolling survival simulation game Far World Pioneers will launch for PS5 and PS4 on May 30th, and it looks dope. Looks so good. Destroy All Humans 2 reprobed a single player standalone. So they've removed the multiplayer from the game, and they're going to release it as its own package on PS4 on June 27th. Roguelite action third person shooter Die After Sunset. Why is everybody dying? Will launch later this year for PS5. Survival horror game Senses Midnight, the first in an anthology of sequels to Sense, a cyberpunk ghost story, will launch for PS4 and PS5 in June.
Yeah, I went meaty dark on that, so don't tell me anything.
I bet. I bet. Super Bomberman R2 will launch for PS4 and PS5 on September the 13th in North America and September the 14th in Europe and Japan. That seems odd. Roguelite game Endless Dungeon has been delayed from May 18th to October the 19th for PS4 and PS5. Dark comedy slasher horror Killer Frequency will come to PS4 and PS5 on June 1st. Retro platformer Zool Redimensioned will come to PS4 and PS5 on May 16th. Turn-based RPG Noob the Factionalist will launch for PS4 and PS5 on June 29th. 2.5D RPG Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy was announced for PS4 and PS5, and it will release sometime this summer. Survival horror game Project Nightmares Case 36, Henrietta Kedward will launch for PS4 and PS5 on April the 27th.
Put the name on there like it's somebody you know of, like it's
Yeah.
what do you mean? It's nobody knows who that is.
Am I supposed to know who Henrietta Kedward was? I guess it's the 36 case, so I guess I should know. Turn-based RPG Monochrome Mobius Rights and Wrongs Forgotten will come to PS4 and PS5 in North America, Europe, and Oceania sometime this fall. Sandbox ranching game Shepherd's Crossing will
Ooh.
come to PS4 West sometime after it releases in Japan on April the 27th. Side-scrolling action game Anno Mutationum will be getting a big update on PS4 and PS5 later this year, which will add a new roguelike minigame, a new story, a new costume, and new weapons. Strategy RPG Cross Tales will launch for PS4 and PS5 on July 20th. World War II real-time strategy game Travis Company of Heroes 3, will make its way to PS5 on May 30th. It's right around the corner. And finally, Gamatsu reported that Alan Wake and Control developer Remedy Entertainment has rebranded for the first time in more than 20 years, complete with a fresh new logo. And that is all for the news this week. And I'll turn it over to Travis now for this week's new games.
On April 10th, we have Chronicles of Albion, the Magic Convention. Sounds terrible. I wonder if it's like the Magic card game or just like Harry Potter magic. On the 11th, we have Process of Elimination, Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened. On the
Wife, right?
12th, what?
That's how you picked your wife, right? Process of elimination.
Yeah. April the 12th, Emergency Crew, Hyper 5, Murderous Muses, Spelunking the Mind Match. Sounds terrible. On the 13th, we have Arcade Archives, Dig Dug 2. Finally, a game I've heard of on Arcade Archives. Cannon Dancer Osman, Dogfight,
Also, how you
Faircroft's
picked your wife.
Faircroft's Antiques, The Forbidden Crypt. That's how you picked your wife. Rubber Duck Wave Racer, Sable Grimoire, A Dragon's Treasure,
Mm.
Sokoler, Tape Unveil the Memories Hi-Fi Edition. On the 14th, we have 8 Doors, Arium's Afterlife Adventure. That's after you're married. They Exit, Eternal Matters, Farm Slider, okay, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, Ultra Pixel Survive, and then they also released Process of Elimination again 3 days later.
I'll never look at them just so we can have little moments like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look at Sherlock Holmes just because I like Sherlock.
Yeah.
I'm curious about what Dogfight is. Is it about planes or is it dogfighting like Michael Vick?
Yeah.
The Rubber Duck
Sure.
Wave Racer, I just wanna see what it looks like. I'm imagining rubber ducks on jet skis.
Sherlock Holmes getting good reviews, by the way.
Yeah.
Decent reviews. I think I saw a couple. Let's see about your dogfight game. If I could type, it's a different dogfight. Oh, there's multiple. How do they get away with this? There's 2 games on the PlayStation Store, same name, different developers, different publishers. Yeah, this one that just came out this week, the dogfight game, looks up your alley. It's a 2D side-scrolling plane shooting shit thing.
Rubber Duck Wave Racer is what you'd expect. The rubber ducks are the jet skis.
Oh, good.
And
Perfect.
it's like kinda looks like Mario Kart, but crossed with, a children's show.
Speaking of Mario Kart, I'm interested to see if that Disney Speedstorm game that's coming out this week is worth a shit. So that's all for the new game releases this week, and we'll now begin to wrap the show up here as we approach 12 minutes remaining on our Zencaster time. We're making great time. We'll wrap things up by discussing what we've been playing and anything that we're looking forward to. What do you got, Travis?
We played the new Battlefield Leviathan? Levion? What is it called?
Leviathan?
Yeah, that I've never been so horrible at anything. It might have just been the first batch. That first batch we had where they were just a bunch of they were just like a bunch of goddamn ringers. Like seriously, the round would last like 4 minutes. Like they would just mow us, and then you would go like 2-8, and like you couldn't. It was impossible. We got another batch, played a couple of different maps, and it went a little bit better. So it's just a different way of playing. I'm not sure the mechanics of Battlefield lend itself to that type of game mode, but it's interesting nonetheless. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool how you have to grab your stuff and take it up there. It does create like these really intense battle situations, which are always the best part of Battlefield. So it kind of feels like they were trying to organically create those like oh shit
I think
moments.
I think the game mode is cool, like, the premise is cool and everything, like, but god, I was just getting my shit pushed in.
Yeah, it's like the balance was off on the spawns or something, or maybe I don't know. We weren't good, so we'll have to try it again. We did play against a guy who joysticked a helicopter and went 184 and 0, which was fucking awesome. He flew the thing out of the fucking tunnel on it. What is that? What is that map? Where you're in Canada? Yeah,
Exposure?
he just came rocking and rolling out of the map on exposure and like 180'd out of it and just mowed us both down. It was pretty cool.
Yes, yes. That was dope. I took a video.
So it was awesome. Yeah, I bought PGA Tour, the EA Sports one, not the other one, and
Mhm.
you can't putt. The putt in the game is completely fucked. The grids don't make sense. The line it gives you doesn't always work. If the line looks something like an S, you can't putt it. It won't go in. You just have to hit it and try to get it close. But they're trying to. There's an update for that coming. There's like the game has just some weird things about it. Like it'll randomly tell you didn't pull the stick back straight, even though you
Yeah.
doing the same thing. It doesn't always go where it says it's going to go. Sometimes the wind does not affect the ball, which is really cool when there's like a 12-mile-an-hour crosswind and you play the wind and it doesn't affect the ball and you just pipe it into the trees. So that's a good time. The game is hard. Like you you really need to learn how to putt and you really need to learn how to play the short game and you have to like play conservative or you won't win. So I finally gotten to the point where I understand what to do. So it's a little bit better. Yeah, but I mean, it's like in all honesty, I think that and this goes with a lot of sports games. Like they don't know how to make you suck yet. I mean, like when you're doing your
Mm.
character. So they just kind of
Yeah.
like they just make things happen that don't make sense. It's like, oh, okay, well, your guy is a 70 overall. Well, I know you did everything perfect to hit it straight, but I'm just gonna make it roll off the green. It's like, okay. Like
Yeah.
such shit like that happens and it's really that's why I hate the my player on 2K because until you're like an 80 overall, it does shit like that too. Like you'll do everything perfect and then just miss the layup. It's like I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I turned on a game to get the trophy to get the points for the PlayStation Plus thing. I,
Mhm.
I, I turned on Meet Your Maker, got to the menu, and then turned it off and got the points.
Mhm. Same.
So that was I think that's all I did.
Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, I played Battlefield 2042 with you as you discussed. We played a little bit of the Leviathan thing, got our shit pushed in, as we said. It is what it is. Sometimes it doesn't hit. But when we played outside of the Leviathan Rising event, when we did, like you said, Conquest and everything, had a great time. Had a great time. Really, enjoying the game. Like you said, the guy flying the helicopter through the tunnel like a fucking wild man, and then he had like almost 200 kills and all that shit. It's just ridiculous. He was a YouTuber, apparently.
Oh
Yeah, I would hope so.
yeah, hey, we
That
played with
good.
a YouTuber the other day too. We played with the flat guy.
Oh yeah, we did. We played with Flackfire. He was in our squad. Holy shit!
He's in our squad. Yeah,
How do we forget to talk about that?
I don't know.
We played like a whole round with Flackfire.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Our squad came in second or third that time,
Yeah,
and
he did everything.
yeah, yeah. So that was fun. And so shout out to Flackfire. He's a very prominent first person shooter like Battlefield guy on the Twitter and the YouTube. So that was cool. Forgot about that. And let's see what else. Played some Creed Rise to Glory. Finished that game up for my review for GamingNexus.com. Gave it an 8 out of 10, which for us is good, which means that it is a good game, but with minor flaws. And I think that pretty accurately sums it up. Has issues with controller tracking occasionally on PSVR 2 is my biggest complaint with it. some of the like training stuff seems inconsistent. Just I don't know how or why it rewards you the stars that it does for the training exercises, but it's a hell of a workout. I mean, if you want exercise from a VR game, like it doesn't get much better than that. And the boxing is pretty cool. You know, you duck under punches, leaning away from punches, you know, throw hooks and haymakers and shit. It's fun. It's a fun game. Is it worth $40? I don't know. Maybe catch it on a sale. Anything else that I played? I don't think so. I don't think so. I am playing something else, but I can't talk about it at the moment. So you just have to stay tuned for that. And
GTA 6.
yeah, I've been playing GTA 6, guys. It's fucking dope. So anyway, but that's all for this week. I'm looking forward to The Dead Island 2. It's coming out this
Mhm.
week, as well as Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores, which looks incredible. That also comes out this week. A couple of heavy hitters there. And yeah, then we're right around the corner. Believe it or not, it's so fucking insane. It's almost summertime. We're around the corner from a PlayStation showcase in May. We're around the corner from all these summer shows and streams and showcases, whatever, in June. So we are on the cusp of some exciting
Oh,
times here.
like 4 months from Spider-Man.
4 months from Spider-Man, pretty much. It's pretty wild. And if you do you remember that game called I know we're running out of time here, but do you remember that game called The Finals? It's by all the people who used to work on Battlefield. That I sent you guys, has like the fully destructible environments and shit.
Nope.
Oh my god. Anyway, that's like one of the most anticipated games for me personally, and
Oh, yeah.
I think that
I remember that now.
I think that's gonna I think that's gonna shadow drop at the Summer Game Fest thing that Keeley's gonna do in June because it's in
That'd
beta.
be cool.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Heard it here first. Anyway, we're literally running out of time, so we gotta go. And you guys, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening to get a new episode delivered every Monday on your feed. Also, if you can leave us a rating or review, a like, a heart, stars, thumbs up, whatever it is, it's all very much appreciated and very helpful in our fight against the algorithm. Don't forget to find us on social media as well. On Twitter, we go by at the DualSense Pod, but we also have an Instagram and Facebook. Our website is the dualsensepodcast.wordpress.com. You can get the shows there each week as well, in addition to our bios and photos and show notes. So hit us up wherever you like. We love to chat PlayStation with you. And we'll get out of here now. Thank you for listening again and have a great week. We'll talk at you next time. Bye bye.